care of a couple housekeeping things, and we're ready to get started here. So let's get to the. Can I get an approval of the agenda?
Move approval of the agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded for approval of the agenda. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Seeing none. For approval of planning meeting minutes from the last meeting of December 1, 2025.
I motion that we so move to approve the minutes. Sorry.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion on the minutes? My mic is on. Maybe I just turned my head, sorry. I'll move it a little closer. What did I do?
Nothing.
Okay, where were we? Moved and seconded for approval of the minutes. Did we get a vote on that? I don't think we did. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? That passes. All right, so now it's time for public comment. This part of the meeting set aside for public comments regarding things not on the agenda. If you're here for something on the agenda, you'll have a chance to speak to that item when it comes up. Does anybody have public comments on any item not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on then. And I get a motion to enter into the Board of Adjustment.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to enter into the Board of Adjustment. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously. We'll go to item C2. Before we commence the variance request, I would point out we're currently one member short. To receive a variance request, state law requires 2/3 of the entire board, not of those present, so you would have to prevail by getting all votes but one today. So if anybody wants to postpone their variance request based on that, they should let us know when they come up and we can postpone it a month. Otherwise, we'll start with variance request, Ordinance 20, Article 686, Timberwood Park Estates Subdivision Number 2. Is there anybody here to speak to this? Mike? Are you dealing with Timberwood Park Estates? It's been too long, Mike.
It's been a while.
You can't remember how it works, huh?
It's been a while since I've been down here.
Well, that's because you've been behaving, so...
Wow. No, I made some changes in my life.
Okay, well, good.
For the better.
Okay.
Mike Tui Design Group.
So there's are these all three variances are on the same project, correct?
I think we only have two.
We have two,
Oh,
and then
excuse-
one in ordinance.
Oh, okay, one in Pleasant
Yes.
Valley. Okay, so items 2 and 3, Mike, you can kind of explain them jointly, unless the board has any concerns about that. I would suggest you explain them jointly. We'll let you talk about both of them, explain them both, but let's just cover it all at one time.
Sure. So the first variance is a variance to leave the road the way it currently is today. The road was constructed in 2007. 2006, 2007. It's, I think in our exhibit, we're like 22 to 28 feet, or 22 to 20 to 22 feet. I think your ordinance requires 28. And the reason, our reasons for the request is just to go in and add 4 feet onto a road. Kind of doesn't really make sense in my opinion, because you'd just be widening that section of the road one way or the other. All the ditches and existing right-of-ways would have to be rebuilt and reconstructed. They've been grown all back in and function. The second one is a request to not require us to plat out the section line. The section line on the north side of, I believe that's lot 1, based on current ordinances, would have to be platted out. The entire north side of this subdivision and a portion of the west side all sit on section lines, and none of them have been vacated in the past. And so really this is the only part, and then the section line and part of the road. And so just to be consistent with the rest of the subdivision, that's why we're asking not to incorporate that into this plat.
Okay. I do have a couple questions. I don't, so page 5 on the, I think the one you got up, which should work. Or, yeah, these pages aren't matching with what I'm looking at. If you go back to the plat layout that shows this. So, I don't understand the boundaries here. I don't understand when you measure the 2.60 acres. Where are the lot lines? Because it looks like you've already dedicated. Are you dedicating the section line that runs north-south there?
This lower one, you mean?
Yeah.
That will dedicate as public right-of-way.
Okay, so that will be separately platted off.
Correct.
Okay, so the only non-dedication you're looking for is on the lot 1?
Yes, on the north side.
On this, okay, so then my other follow-up question is, well, I got a couple, but where are the roads for the future build-out going? Are they going to come down that section line between 30 and 31? And what land is owned by the Caskey Group? Do they own the land
They
north?
own that side. They do not own that side going to the north.
So they don't own any of this stuff to the north?
They own that. They own the northeast one.
Right, section 30.
They own section 30. They do not own.
They don't own section 25, my understanding.
No, they do not own it.
Okay, so why wouldn't we make you dedicate that now, since I would assume that you're going to use that section line in the future for access?
I don't.
Because you'll lose the power to dedicate that, but we're going to make you dedicate it.
In the original
in the
master
future.
plan that Ryan had submitted, there was no. You have that. In the original.
No.
In the original. In the original master plan that Ryan had done in 2006, there's no connection. He didn't own 31 at the time, and so there's a whole bunch of
31.
31.
He didn't own section
I don't know if he owned 30 when he first did it, but the original plating has a bunch of 3-acre lots in section 31 that did not come off of Timber Creek Drive.
Yeah, that was in 2006.
Yeah.
And it's changed. He owns different land, and our ordinances have changed drastically.
Correct. No, I get that.
You're not proposing that a 20-year-old master plan has to control us today, are you?
Based on that, that's the only part. Ryan's previous engineer changed hands, and he called me up and said, I know you're going to do some work with
the
Laredo.
engineer changed hands, or?
No, the engineer was eaten up by another firm, a larger firm, and he's not
No.
using them anymore. And so I'm coming in at the very last.
That does happen. Small firms get bought up by bigger firms.
At as of right now, I do not know that there is a needed connection from him into section 30, excuse me.
Yeah, but the connection could go east down between 30 and 31 to loop that route out.
Based on the letter that he wrote, he has no intention of using that section line.
I don't know that. I mean, he's saying it now, but I mean, I don't have a master plan that provides where I'm comfortable saying that that's never going to be necessary.
There's a letter in the packet, should be a letter in the packet from JK that says he has no intentions of plotting.
I've been monopolizing this conversation. Other people have questions on the requested variances. Just FYI, I have some questions on that lot 12, but I'll save those for the plat.
Here.
I along the similar vein, I have similar questions. I know the intent is to keep it uniform with what's existing already. The question is, what complications does that present for the future as the development goes on further and further to the east? Are we asking for uniformity for the next set to the east and then the next set to the east ad infinitum?
So, again, the little bit that I do know is that this is the last phase of Timberwood Park Estates. After this, the development changes. It'll be different size lots, completely separate and not related to what's been built over the last 20 years. And I don't see us coming back and asking the same. I don't see him coming back there, not based on what they had originally drew up.
Thank you.
So if I'm understanding the bigger picture here, you have a master training plan from 2006 that you're using as the baseline template to do this build out. And between then and now, our ordinances have either gotten tightened or rewritten, but you want to stick with your original concept plan that was already approved and being allowed to be used for this build out, correct?
For these two items, yes.
And it is your contention to tell us that this is the final piece of this puzzle involving Timberwood Estates. There's not going to be anything else involving Section 31 or anything else as far as build out attached to this specific development or this master plan from 2006?
Correct. I would, and Tanya and I have already kind of talked about it. At the time that he wants to go in, we would sit back down and start from scratch and not go back to what was done in 2006. This is just, these last 12 lots are the last phase of Timberwood Estates Park.
And Tanya, I see that it looks like the staff seems to be copacetic with this.
Timberwood Creek Road is already dedicated on a plat as a public easement. The lot lines are to the center line of the road. The only thing we could dedicate is the 33-foot on the east side. The other 33-foot would still remain in the lots as an easement. But just to have uniformity through there, these 12 lots, I didn't see a real issue with it because we can't change the lots on the west side anyways because it's they already owned to that center line of the road.
So I guess I'm Tanya, and then I'm lost because it looks like to me the plat that he's proposing actually must dedicate that because it shows the lot lines swinging out like around that cul-de-sac, and then it shows those lot lines appear to be following the 33-foot off the section line mark. They're not on the section line on the plat, or I mean at least on what's showing up on the variance. And I thought he just told me that, Mr. Toohey just told me the only place they're looking for the variance on the section line is on the north end.
Changing that. It could go either way. That's what he chooses to do, is just to do the section line on 31 and 30. That's fine.
Yeah, except I'm just saying, no, but I'm talking about the north-south. Is that you're saying that's not dedicated?
I was under the impression we submitted as a preliminary plat to dedicated, and after we had a conversation that we would ask for the variance, if we could leave it as is, to leave it as a 66-foot dedicated easement on the original plat from 2006. And then,
Okay, but that's not what he just said they're asking for today.
So
I mean, that's not what Mr. Tui just said. Mr. Tui said they were dedicating it.
what we're dedicating is the part along Frontier Loop on the south side of lots 11 and 12. That would be dedicated as
Okay.
public right-of-way.
Okay, then how come your lot lines don't go to the section line of lots 1 through 12?
This is kind of a gray area in the idea that the plat for this original subdivision dedicated a 66-foot easement along the center line of the section line. And so it's written as dedicated public right-of-way. And they also detailed out where the cul-de-sac was. Where Tanya and I have been having discussions is that the original plat did not call out anything in section 31. So
Well, do you mean the master plan?
the original plat for phase 2 of Timberwood,
Oh, but you didn't plat anything
So-
in section 31 previously.
this was done long before us.
Yeah,
If we
I
can go-
understand. I mean, and
So-
look, the other thing I'd say is Caskey has changed up even the size of these lots some since the master plan. There's been a lot of change to this. So, I mean, you've got the master plan from 2006, but nobody should be under any illusion that the master plan has any kind of control at this point, given that Caskey himself has done a lot of internal changing up on lot size and things like that.
So if we look at the plat that's on the screen, can you zoom into that part? You can see right by their little Buffalo North arrow to the left side of that, there's a comment in there that says 66-foot wide dedicated public easement. And they've platted phase 2 of Timberwood only in section 36. In the title, it only references section 36. It does not reference anything in section 31. So the discussion that Tanya and I were having is for the east side of the road, Timber Creek Drive, it's tied really to that easement, but this plat never called anything out in section 31. So we discussed whether we dedicated the public right-of-way or if we went back and just left it as what was originally drawn so it wasn't the confusion that came down later.
Okay, but again, your map shows you dedicating that, the way you've got these lots laid out.
Yep, we platted to the 33-foot line or the outside of the circle.
So again, you're going to dedicate the Timber Creek Drive section line, the one half of the section line, and then the cul-de-sac as part of this plat.
We've talked about doing it either way.
Okay.
We talked about dedicating it. That's what I first brought to her. When we sat down and we talked, then we decided to go back and just reference it to the original plat book and show it as public right-of-way because it's shown as a dedicated public easement on this plat.
Yes, but it's not part of your variance request to waive the dedication of the 33 feet along Timber Creek Drive. Is that correct?
We added it based on our discussion because there's a gray area of if it's already public easement. In talking with my surveyor, it's already dedicated section line right away.
Well, sure, but was that before you ever platted one lot out there?
Yes.
Because here's and the reason I'm a stickler on this is I don't know how big these lots actually are, I don't know if you're going to increase them if you don't dedicate it to go to the lot line, because you're not drawing them to the lot line now, and I don't have area mass to the section line. I only have it to the lot line, which is on the 33 feet. It's my understanding.
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right.
And again, we could do it either way. It's kind of a gray area between, you put 10 surveyors in a room, you're going to get 10 different answers.
Yeah, I get what you say, and and the county's changed up a little bit what they've allowed off and on.
And so, again, it was, do we dedicate a half street, which is not in line with your ordinances, or do we leave it as the original dedicated from the 2006 or 2007 plat?
Everybody understand this conversation, this argument I seem to be having with Mr. Tuitt?
Dedicated.
There's two different things. So this is a section line. There's a second. This road is over the top of a section line. Correct. So it's a 66-foot wide public access easement just based on the section line existing. They're seeking two variances. One specifically is not to dedicate that area of section 31 at the top of lot 1. Okay, but I'm good. And then the stuff that goes north-south, he said he wasn't asking for it to be dedicated, but because my question was, if you look, the lot lines are on the 33 foot. But it wasn't entirely clear as to whether they were asking for a variance there. So that's what I was trying to clarify. Because I can't grant a variance based on these numbers, because I have no idea then what these lot sizes are going to be or where the lot lines are based on this diagram. At least I wouldn't vote for a variance in that. There's that, and then they have a second one on the road width. That's the next one, and so he talked about that briefly too, which I invited him to do, and maybe I caused more confusion there. I'm sorry if I did that.
So if we're talking section. So if we're talking about section lines, we're talking about the north-south, and we're talking about the east-west on the north side. And it sounds to me like you've already dedicated, even prior to 20 years ago, which seems like a lifetime right now, you've already got that one done. I personally have an issue with doing a variance on the north one, because that's two different property owners. I think that section line should stay. Not that everybody else is in it. That's not what I mean, but whatever. I think they both need to be dedicated section lines.
Okay, let's break this up a little bit. Other questions on the section line requests, or thoughts or questions of Mr. Tuitt? Okay, let's talk about the road variance. Did staff go out and take a look at the road? And it's in decent shape? And is there any requirements to bring the road up, even just because I understand it's not wide enough, but otherwise does it meet county specs?
It's not wide enough, no. My question was 20 years ago, which I can't find any documentation, is it's been ground off. The millions have been taken off, and it's now just gravel. It was an asphalt road.
Yeah. Okay.
So but the gravel road now is in good shape yet.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if it was part of the plat request that had to be paved 20 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Plus, it needs to be redone.
And ditches, culverts, all that are.
Yeah, those are all in.
Yeah,
it's all grass. The culverts are all clean. It flows water.
Are we getting any complaints from any of the homeowners that should be a paved road?
Yes.
Okay.
We have somebody who wants it.
Okay. All right. Well,
there's a letter attached. The HOA has contacted Ryan Caskey on that. I have had a couple calls that condition of the road or if it's going to be asphalt, I don't know. Because I don't know the prior history of this, and I cannot find any information in our system on it.
Okay,
Mr. Tui and I are kind of
yeah.
trying to bring a 20-year project up to speed, and it's
Yeah.
just been a battle.
Yeah.
Wanting it to end with this.
Yeah, well, yeah, I doubt that it will end, but, so you don't know when it was changed back to gravel?
I do not.
All right. Other questions for Mr. Tui?
If I could add one more thing, Talbot. On the north side section line, right now, to me, it's more of a, how do we want to address the problem, right? The one side, the west side of the street has been platted to the center line of the road. We're platting to the 33-foot line. It could become public. We could dedicate it as public right away. It's tied to the easement. I think this is a more of what's the best way going through your ordinances today to resolve the north-south side part.
Yeah, understood. Anything else?
No.
Is there anybody else here to speak to these variances? Did hear some. Did you want to speak to these variances, sir? Well, the two variances that we've been discussing are the. Hey, sir, could you come up to the mic so you can identify yourself for the record? And generally, we ask people to come up, identify themselves, and say like if they've got if they live out there or are connected to the project at all.
I'm Dave Eide, and I lived out in Timberwood.
Make sure that mic's on, could you? Just if, yeah, here, hit it right.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Okay, Dave Eide, and I've lived in Timberwood since 2008, so I know more probably about this development than anybody in this room.
Probably.
Yeah, except that Ryan's not here. So my one question is what's the importance of this variance on the lot line up there, while there's been nothing done with any attention paid to the lot line going to the west of there? What's the difference? I guess to me the difference is that Caskey probably wants to have some access to do something, because now, am I correct in understanding is that the lot, 31 you're calling it? That's it
was section 31.
Or section 31, and that's the northeast section at that intersection, if you will. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe that's correct.
Yes.
Okay, and so he now owns that lot, or that section, I should say.
That's what Mr. Tui said.
Okay. So my guess is that this variance requested has something to do with development in that section, because I'm pretty sure everything Ryan's got he wants to develop. As far as the other stuff they were talking about, I mean, the original plats that were shown to us when we bought property out there in 2008 never even included anything being built on the east side of Timber Creek Drive. That was just basically the road that went down there that serviced everybody to the west. And so Ryan keeps changing everything. I mean, used to everything was 3-acre lots, and then he decided to chop them up into smaller lots, which everybody was against, most everyone. And then, you know, as far as the paved roads, now there's a little bit of a mistake. There was never Timber Creek Drive was never an asphalt road, never, ever. It was gravel, and then he put millings on it, and that improved it to the point where after a few years the millings just got destroyed, and with all the traffic, and so then he redid it here just last month. to kind of satisfy homeowners that he fixed the road up. He tore it up and then put down some new millings. That'll buy they'll probably be destroyed by the time he finishes construction on that road. And then I assume he won't, because he's already said in the statement there that all the roads are complete, no further work is planned, and no further development will take place in Timberwood. But that's what it says in there. Now, that doesn't hold any water as far as I'm concerned, because he can just do like everything else. Like, initially, he sold this property to everybody out there with it all being 3-acre lots and all roads paved, or specified as paved roads. They didn't necessarily say all. It didn't say it on paper that they were all paved, but it just said paved roads. However, his realtors and himself told all of us that bought out there that the roads were going to be paved within there once the construction was completed throughout the development, because they said it doesn't make sense to pave it first. It's like, that makes sense. But then it changed, and on Frontier Loop, where the pavement ends, he continued on with just putting millings down on Frontier Loop about a mile and a quarter around, something like that. Frontier Loop goes all the way around to where it intersects at Timber Creek Drive, but he stopped the millings when he ran out of them at the pile that he had at the time, and that was about around up in the northwest corner there, and so then he said after he gets that developed on there, gets those lots done, which he now chopped up into half size or even less than that, and most of those now have been built on, and then he said he was going to put millings on the rest of the way over to Frontier Loop, or over to Timber Creek Drive. But he hasn't done that, but he said he's done with doing everything he's going to do to it. But many people have been told, and even recently, people within the last few years have been told by realtors that they've dealt with. Now, Ryan's he's got a master's degree in deception, and so he doesn't ever say anything. He puts it off on his realtors, and they, of course, are trying to sell the lot, so they go, yeah, the road will be paved when they get the construction done. So a lot of people have been told that recently, and we were told that clear back in 2008. And they continued to say that, but it doesn't follow through. And then Ryan says, well, I never said they'd all be paved roads. He said, and I never said they'd all be 3-acre lots. And it's like, that's where the deception is coming in, and there's a lot of frustration with that. So that's about enough. I could go on for a long time here, but no. I do have maybe one other concern, and that is not about right now, but it's in this document as well, is about our water system, because he keeps adding more lots to it, and it's like, we have one water tower. What happens if that water tower fails? What's our backup source? I don't know if we have a backup source, and I doubt that the pumps can provide 130 homes with water if you don't have a tower to provide pressure. Because a lot of times we don't have water pressure over 20 pounds of pressure. Or a number of times we've had pressure only at 20. And so I'm pretty sure that it takes the water tower to make the pressure. And so there's a concern about, as he keeps making more and more homes, because this originally was supposed to have been about 70 homes, and now we're talking, 130? That's a lot of change.
And the water system is state qualified to do this many lots?
Yes. He has 2 wells.
And sufficient capacity, storage?
It maybe has 2 wells, but he has 1 tank. So what happens if that water tank gets destroyed by winds or whatever? Are the pumps sufficient to provide water pressure to 130 homes?
The idea, it's not a question I can answer.
Well, I'd like somebody to answer it.
Mr. Chair, so I assume we'll be discussing that part when we get to the preliminary plan.
Yeah, that's a good point, Roger, thank you. So the variance deals with the road width and then what portions of the section line to dedicate or not dedicate. Are the two variances, correct? Okay. So the plat, we'll talk more about the water. So with the plats later in the agenda, we have to do the variances separately because we have to sit as a board of adjustment. Any other comments on the road or his request not to dedicate some of the right of way? Sure.
Nothing more than what I've already said.
Okay, we'll probably talk about the water system a bit more on the platting aspect to it. Go ahead.
I have one question. Do they have a road district there in that development? Do they have a water board?
No.
Or who controls their, so Mr. Caskey is the sole owner, operator. He does all the snow removal and maintenance on the roads within the district or within the development?
That's correct at this time, yeah. He stated he was going to turn it into a road district many, many years ago. Nothing's ever happened.
And that applies to the water system as well?
The water system, I think, is actually handled by, Sage
Waterworks?
Sage Waterworks, yes. And I think, now I don't know if they are the owner of it or if they're just managing.
They're a certified operator.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
I doubt they own it. I mean, Mr. Caskey still owns the system, doesn't he, Mr. Toohey?
Yes, sir.
That's all I had for questions.
Any other questions for this gentleman?
To make sure I'm looking at the big picture here. You're basing what you want to finish off on the master plan that was approved in 2006. The question I would have is that the ordinances that have been amended or edited since that master plan was submitted, were they done strictly for safety or some type of conformity or engineering specs, Talbert? I mean, if we go ahead and say, yeah, let's let them have their variance because we want to keep things looking all the same, are we creating a problem down the road that we obviously want to try to avoid by ignoring our ordinances as they are today?
Yeah, so, and Tanya, if you got thoughts on this too, the way I would look at it is they had a master plan for this development, which included this north-south road. At the time, we didn't make them dedicate roads. It was formally dedicated as a separately blocked off lot. They could just dedicate the public right-of-way as a public right-of-way easement, similar to like an unplatted section line.
Okay, so to clarify, you've also stated that this master plan has been massaged or reinterpreted throughout the years by the people who presented it to the committee that sat here before us?
So, as this gentleman pointed out, the master plan in 2006 originally was 3-acre lots because that's the smallest the county would let you subdivide to. So Mr. Caskey, when the county modified that based on central water systems, Mr. Caskey came in on those later phases and made the lots smaller. I think to the north, those lots are smaller. And towards
on that north side, correct.
Yeah, those lots are smaller. So he made them below the 3 that was part of the master plan.
So we can't say that a precedent has been set in the past should hold the same weight as it would be like a standard now measured, correct? Because there have been changes on both sides, by our ordinances and then by what they're planning to do.
Yeah, it's been modified along the way, correct. I don't see that you're bound by the 2006. Number one is just by its age. Number two, that while it helped lay out all the roads and what was going on, helped them plan, and Ryan it's a nice development, frankly. When I drive back there, he's done a nice job. It's turned into a pretty nice neighborhood. He's changed it up, and so I don't see that we're bound specifically to a 20-year-old master plan that probably is only good for about 5 years.
But there's, the reason I'm asking is because I really believe one of the big things about local government should be stability and predictability. And I can sense this gentleman's frustration with, here's the snake oil, but it's really medicine for you, and only to find out that it's really not what it was claimed to be. Because I've been in that situation before when I bought houses in brand new developments. Staff, I would ask that, based on our discussions, are you still inclined to approve the variances or recommend approval of these variances?
If the variances are approved, setbacks still work for the houses. You still have to go off the section line right away for all your setbacks. The building envelope does not change on that aspect at all.
Actually, if you zoom into lot 1, you can see that we've already shown what we've actually done is we've set the building footprint in that lot 1. You can see we show the 33-foot section line right away on the north side of that lot, and then we've offset another 25 feet as your building setback in case that road were to ever be, in case something were to ever be done there. So we're not letting them build in the first 58 feet away from the setback or the section line, in case this were to happen. In case if that road were to ever be opened up, we'd already have planned for it.
Well, it looks like, in all honesty, it's all going to be opening up sooner or later. I guess it's a matter of how it opens and how people interpret it as to how open it's going to be.
So, a question for Tanya. So I'm looking at it two different ways. One is the Timberwood Road, and then the second one, Section 31. As far as I'm concerned, I think Section 31 I can't support platting to the lot line or to the section line. Timberwood Road, so the question is the net effect of platting to the section line or observing the 33-foot right away. Does it make any difference either way in terms of future road development? So assuming, probably a safe assumption, that there will be further development and the need for increasing traffic load on roads such as Timberwood, is this one way or another going to make any net effect on our ability to provide for that increased traffic load?
Jeez, Raj.
We gave it to you.
Yeah. Went to the smart one in the room.
That's what we're all about, is we're just trying to keep the traffic load not any higher than what it already is. And if we know that Ryan's going to develop more to the east, that'll come off of the east part of Frontier Loop, but it doesn't need to come through the Timberwood development. So, I don't care about the variances and all that, but we're just looking at the traffic flow. We don't really want to set us up to where now we have another 200 homes out here that all drive through our development. And we've already got a lot more than what we originally thought when a lot of us bought our property out there.
Yeah. The question really for Tanya is for Timberwood Road.
So on Timberwood Road, if I understand this, they become a road district, and one side's dedicated easement, and the other side's dedicated public right-of-way as a track taken out. Does that matter on a road district? It could include the whole section line and the whole subdivision.
Yeah, it would be. It's just
It's more or less
the same thing called by a different name. The biggest issue and the biggest struggle when you dedicate these section lines or don't dedicate them is there's, I'm from back east, so when you'd have a county road go down a section line and dedicated section lines, farmers and ranchers would sometimes put fencing, like even temporary fencing, especially during dry years, right up next to the road, like electric fence, and run their cattle in the ditch because that was still their land, and they weren't impeding the traffic. So the question becomes, do the people that own the land under the right-of-way have any rights to be in there messing around or doing something different than if it's dedicated, where then they have no rights other than what the general public has? And so, that's generally why you see dedication being the better route when you get to higher density, because you don't want guy in lot 1 doing something out in the ditch that impacts the guy in the lot next to him. It's a cleaner way, because then you don't never get into a fight that somebody says, I have the right, I own the land in the ditch, and while it's public right of way, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z in it that impedes people from walking in the ditch or driving in the ditch or doing something else. So
Is there not a 66-foot right-of-way right now?
There is a 66-foot
that applies to all the roads within Timberwood?
Yeah, there's rights of way for all the roads right now. There's a difference between ones that are what's called right of way by easement versus right of way by where the actual road has been platted off, where the actual road is not part of the lot, not part of anybody's ownership lots, and just clearly controlled and always by the government. So I don't know. Yeah.
I have the belief that most people think that 33 feet from the center of the road coming in is easement, and then at that point it becomes their property. Because I do some landscaping work out there, and so I'm familiar with some of the needs of that, and so that seems to be what
that would be the right thing
everyone
to do, because even like a section line, the county can prevent you from putting structures in a section line. But what does the county affirmatively have to make for a rule versus what a person, if they own the land and the county's not exercising it? So,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So it's a bit of the semantics seem unimportant until they become important.
We can dedicate it. I don't think there's a problem with that.
Yeah. Roger, did you?
Then I move.
Let's wait a second before we make a motion. Number one, let Tanya finish her comment, and then I'm going to ask if anybody else from the public wants to speak, because I think there's a gentleman from the public who wants to speak to the variances.
Whether we dedicate or not dedicate, the lots meet the size requirement to add the septics and.
Yep.
So if we dedicate it, it would be dedicated just on the section line of 30 on the east side. The west side is still a public easement that is non-dedicated. It'll function the same.
Non-platted. Yep, they should function the same, except those rare point times where somebody could argue that because they own the land, they can exercise additional.
Mr. Tui and I have discussed the lots will work either way.
Yeah.
Whether we dedicate or not dedicate.
Yep.
The whole subdivision was set up as all easements and recorded, and we're just trying to follow what was. And when we went into the new plans, we'd switch everything over to dedicated public right-of-ways.
Right. Understood. All right, sir, I think somebody else wants to make a couple comments. Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
I come second because I like to sit in warm chairs.
I like that.
I'd like to thank my neighbor for warming her up. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to have a few minutes of your time. I have a sympathy for the job you guys have to do. But I own lot 30. Now lot 30 is right on the corner across from the mailboxes. Okay? If you want to take that, do the variance of widen everything out and you're going to take a lot of stuff that people's put not in the right of way, but close to it. It's my understanding. If you redo all borrow pits and everything to get 24-foot top. Why can't you change that and take the width east of the road and leave the west of the road alone?
On,
That way, you're only working in one borrow pit.
are you
Move
talking
everything
on,
back
on Frontier Loop?
on Timberwood Creek, the one we're talking about.
You're on the corner of Frontier.
Yeah, I'm in the corner of Frontier and Timber Creek.
Okay.
Right on the very corner right there. It looks to me like that would make more sense in tearing everything up. But of course they're going to tell us to do it the other way so that we will cave in and say, no, we don't want that. We don't want that side tore up, so you can do whatever you want. And then all you got to do is move everything back a few feet, and you got your problem solved. What I've seen I was raised in western Montana. My dad was an excavator. We built roads for a living. Some of the roads I've seen built in this neighborhood is absolute trash. They have no base on them whatsoever. Everything on the road is clay. That whole country out there is clay. You can't pave on clay. It won't stay put. You're wasting your money. Now, he went in there and just picked up the gravel that was on it, put a tarp mat down, and then put that gravel right back on it. He might have taken out 8 inches at the most, because I watched the whole thing. It was right in my backyard. Held it off, piled it, hauled it back on. He wasted all of his time and money doing that because it will not last. The clay keeps heaving, and the more traffic you get on it, the worse it is, and it'll keep moving. You guys know this because you got some of the worst roads in the county. Rough, Haynes Avenue for a good example. Okay, if they put that much more traffic on that road right there, us as landowners are gonna have a problem because Kasky's getting the heck out of Dodge, and he's gonna lay this thing in our lap. And it's a private road. We pay road maintenance on that road every month for everybody in the county to use it. People come off of the county road. What's the name of it? I can't remember. McIntosh. They come up over McIntosh, down Timberwood, right out to Elk Creek. Farmers and ranchers that own the land down are renting it. They use it constantly, haul their hay, do whatever they want. And I'm not saying that because I'm a retired rancher. And I understand things too also. But when people pay to maintain a road that everybody gets to use, that's not fair. And when he exits Dodge and gets out of town and lays all this in our lap, then we're got to maintain this. And all the roads that he's built that didn't cost him anything, we have to redo. We cannot afford to do that. And our understanding is that you guys will not help us either. That's what was been told to us. That we said, well, we'll just have a meeting and then turn it over to the county, and the county maintain it. Well, my understanding is you will not do that. Am I wrong?
I don't expect that the county would do the maintenance in that area.
Yeah, they won't take it over and maintain it. Yet we're paying taxes and everything else in this county, but our road's not going to be touched. And we're going to have to maintain our road, pay you guys taxes, and if we want to put a culvert, we've got to get a permission from you guys to do it, and it's a private road. Okay.
Yeah, just a couple comments. It's a dedicated public right-of-way. The way the statutory scheme is set up, county controls dedicated public right-of-ways. That's why you have to get a permit to do a culvert across the road. I live in a development where we have to do our own roads too, and they're all dedicated. We got the same thing.
Yeah.
Multiple subdivisions, that's the way it's done in Meade County, because Meade County does not have the tax base or the income to maintain all these subdivision roads. Meade County's road budget last year was $7 million. We're rebuilding Haynes. It's going to cost us over $4 million. So the funds are not there for these subdivisions, and that's why many subdivisions form road districts or have HOAs that maintain their roads.
And that's why these developers should be held accountable.
Yeah,
They should be required to build these roads up to specs and roads that will will last, and then when they dump them on the landowners, we can maintain them. We can't go in there and rebuild all them roads. That's what's going to happen because we've got more traffic on them than they can handle right now. Okay, the other issue that I have is you're adding all these houses, small lots. How do you get septic systems on 1.5 or 1 acres? What is your guideline for septic systems in these situations like that? Don't you have to have so many acres to have a drain field?
South Dakota law controls, South Dakota law, and though this is kind of outside the discussion of this variance, would be more for the plat, but South Dakota law basically requires 20,000 square feet if you have a central water system, as long as you can show that the soil will perk.
Mm-hmm. That's the other issue. Soil will not perk there because it is all clay. And I got to look at it real close because my neighbor's septic system just failed here 2 months or a month ago. Along with quite a few others in our development have had to replace their septics because, well, for one thing, they're too far in the ground. For another thing, there ain't got enough gravel in there for it to perk. Pretty soon, the clay gets wet and it absorbs, plugs off the drain, and you're done. All the water comes to the top, you're done. I looked at my neighbor's septic system. The water was coming out of the ground because it quit. Now, that was put in, I don't know, 2007 or 8 or something like that. It hadn't been that long ago. Huh? Yeah, less than 10 years. Yeah. And I went over and looked at it, and the drain fields they put back in it are 4 feet in the ground. They put hardly any gravel on it. Guess what? They're going to replace that one too. It kind of blows my mind because they put the dang thing about 30 feet from my drain field. You didn't have anybody come out and inspect this thing when they got done doing it. He just did it and covered it up and left. Isn't there any kind of a sanitation system here where they have guidelines that you have to have so many feet of drain field per bedroom of house, which is, I do believe, you have that.
State law sets that forth.
But don't you have anything that has to be so far away from another drain field or a well and all this kind of stuff?
Yeah, state law sets that forth.
Administrative Rules of South Dakota 7453-01.
Yeah. So how far do I have to be between a drain line?
I don't know. I don't have those memorized,
Yeah,
sir.
okay.
I mean, let's talk to the variances.
Yeah.
If you have more comments on the variances.
Yeah, that's kind of beside the point anyway right now because it's done. But you have these lots up here that he cut into 1 acres back after the pandemic thing. They were 3 acres. He wanted to make more money because the price of land went up, so he cut them into ones. They're in the draw floodplain. It comes down through that valley. Okay?
Again, your comments right now should go to the variance.
But this is going to this affects everybody in there, and this is the only opportunity I'm going to have to bring it to your guys' attention.
Well, go ahead.
Okay, down here on lots,
11 and 12.
yes, 11 and 12. That drain ditch goes right down through them too. There's no place to put a drain field in either of them except down by the creek. That's in a floodplain. Now, this other lot right here by the road, Ryan's got a well here. He has ran water on that well for about, ever since he drilled it. What's it been, 2 years or
Which
better?
lot would that be?
He's run it nonstop.
Is that
Lot 12.
That's that lot 12.
Yep,
Yep.
that's why it's so small.
And so that's going to be like just for his water system.
Correct.
No.
There's a building
no,
in the well.
No, that's wrong. His well's up here on the corner. Down below it, he's going to sell that lot. He's got lot 12 right here. That's his well, right?
Lot 12 is the well lot.
Okay.
Lot 11 is a proposed residential lot.
That's right. And right behind that is where he dumped all of the millings out of the well, and he ran the water out of that well down that ravine into the gully. Nonstop.
Well,
Just let it run. Okay. Now that land is saturated with water. Who's going to put a sewer system in there?
yeah, okay.
I'm saying this just because I want to point out opinion. Honesty of the developer is not good. And you've heard that here before just a minute ago. And this is one of the issues that we're putting up with out there. We get told one thing, and then tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock we're getting told something else. Keep raising the water rates whenever he feels like he needs more money. Okay, I'm done griping. Guys, I appreciate you listening to me. I do. And the people that live in that subdivision, they bought these big lots because we were tired and we want to have it quiet and a nice development like we were told we were getting. And now it's blowing up into, this is going to, who knows what kind of houses are going to be built here? How much traffic is going to be on that road? It's just, I need to bring that to your attention. That you need to take that into consideration.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. Thank you for your time and the job you do for us.
Is there anybody else who wanted to speak to these variances? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Tu, any other comments you would have just on the variances? Those other
No, sir.
All right. Now, I'm going to look to see if somebody wants to make a motion. And these variances should be separate motions. And if you want to do something different with the section lines, let's make sure the motions are specific as to what section lines you're discussing. Okay.
I move we deny the variance request from Ordinance 20, Article 686.
That's the variance request on section lines?
On section lines, correct.
And moved and seconded to deny the variances regarding the dedication of the section lines. Discussion. What's that?
My apologies. I muttered "feeding the dragon." That's kind of what I feel like.
Well, I hopefully that's a good thing. But all right. Seeing no discussion, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, that variance fails. Let's talk about the next variance on the width. The variance is a request for the width, correct, of the road? Motion on that issue. Okay. Part of it.
Only the eastern side.
Yeah, the northeast, that's section 31.
Correct. He doesn't own the one on the western side.
Direct, but could be serviced by that same street. Well, it's Timber Creek is their drive.
Timber Creek.
And may I make a suggestion before there's a second? I'm not sure what that means of no further development because he can't control the people that are to the west of that. And I think that future development would have to be addressed at that time. There's some work on the road.
That's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, it might need something extra. May I suggest that perhaps your motion should be to allow it to remain at 24 feet. I would maybe specifically ask for some corings to be done to see if it meets the specification for base and things like that. and whether you need that they might need to upgrade it for other county specifications. It stays at 24 feet. The 24-foot wide doesn't concern me as much as the base, because we have a number of county roads that we're not taking out to 28 because of the cost component, the historic roads. But as long as you have a good base, the road at least will hold up. You know, the shoulders would be nice to have, and the wider road would be nice to have, especially if you like run down the road like some people on this board. The functionality of the surface, I think, is important, and the functionality is directly driven by the base. Correct?
I need to amend my motion.
Or just to restate it. I mean, nobody seconded it.
To prove not needing to widen the road at this time, providing we do 4 samples.
So as I understand your motion would be to approve the variance conditioned on them doing core samplings of the road to show that the base is sufficient, and if not, that they'd have to bring the base up to code.
Yes, that's exactly what I said.
Okay.
Would it be, and I,
Or the road up
where we're getting at, I would agree, would it be better simply to say approving the variance request provided that the base meets?
Well, and perhaps even
specs.
broader, that there's a showing that the base and the rest of the requirements of the county roads are,
The county road requirements are met.
including like base and things.
Right. So then it's broader.
Yeah.
And it brings the road to where it should be.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to condition it on anything, I think you condition it on it meeting the rest of it. I mean, that way there's a standard to which they know they have to go to. They know what they got to show up. They know what they've got to do. The comment has passed on that, so.
Or a motion to that.
It just needed a second.
Yeah.
Can we make sure we have the motion correct?
Yeah, let's work on that motion. We've moved it around a little bit.
4 different ones that Anine
So
must have.
is the motion C to allow the variance conditioned on showing that the road meets all other county specifications, including or showing it meets base?
I have it written here as, and I'm being requested by Ann Lease to read it as, motion to approve the variance request from Ordinance 20, Article 6.12.4, Timberwood Park Estates, Subdivision Number 2, to allow it to remain at 24 feet wide, conditional on providing core samplings to show adequate base and meeting the rest of the county specifications. Sorry, progressive lenses, I'm just started reading with them.
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Like committee.
I'm fine with that. What's that?
I wasn't sure if we were leaving the width where things were going.
No, I
or
mean, the
if we-
variance for the width is
Okay.
being granted, but the issue is, if the road is deficient on other requirements, then it needs to be brought up to specifications. Essentially is what I think.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I would second that motion.
Okay. Discussion on the motion.
I do have a little concern on leaving that road width at 24 for future development to the north, not necessarily by this developer, but future developers then have our 28 feet.
Yeah.
This section does not have that. Now's the time that we do have that opportunity to bring it into that compliance. But I do agree, the main concern here, from what the neighbors had said too, is the soils, the road, covering everything there and have core samples. I think we still need that. That's my concern, is development to the north for the future.
And that was honestly, Stan, my concern also is that, and I understand Ryan only controls the east side,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that somebody's not going to develop the other side. And I too, that's why I said it pains me to do this. And that's,
Mr. Chair, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So if 10 years from now, somebody wanted to develop, whether it's Bees on this side or Ryan on this side, and they chose and they wanted to come down that road, would that not fall back on them getting permission from the HOA or the road district? Or they could, if a traffic study was required, that might require improvement at that time?
Yeah, it could require improvement at that time, but it's a section line, so they don't. An HOA or a road district cannot prevent somebody from using the section line, but you could require them to get the plat to upgrade the road.
That's and I guess that's what I'm asking is it as simple as at the time that the widening of this gets addressed at the time something develops to the north? I'm just asking the question.
Well, it could be done at that time, or you could say everything going forward is just going to be 28, and it's going to narrow when you come into that subdivision. I mean, it's not unusual that you're driving down a road and the road size varies based on the age of the road.
Yep.
And so I would expect anything that we see for future planning from Mr. Caskey's 28 feet, and I would expect if anybody does anything up north, it's going to be 28 feet. And depends on what they're doing as to whether they have to improve beyond that.
Okay.
I would expect that. So, but I'm just one guy.
If I'm involved, you'll
just
get
one
it.
guy out here.
If I'm involved in the future, you'll get that.
Okay. Unless some bigger guy buys you out. So, all right. Any discussions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, good. You didn't even get C to vote for it there for a second.
well, I was like,
Well, there's all this other discussion that's coming in.
Motion is as follows. Motion to approve the variance request from ordinance 20, article 6.12.4, Timberwood Park Estates subdivision number 2, to allow it to remain at 24 feet wide, conditional on providing corings are provided to show adequate base and meeting the rest of the county road specifications.
so let me just make sure. If it does not have adequate base and meet the other road specifications, it basically
That's to bring it up to spec.
has to bring it up to spec.
The only road involved at this point is the road that's adjacent to the proposed
Timber
plat.
Creek.
Yep. That's the road involved in this time. That's the road involved at this time. All right, so the motion. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Reluctantly, aye.
Aye.
I'll vote aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
No.
All right, so it passes 4-2. Well, no, it doesn't pass because you have to get 5. It's a variance. So, motion fails. Either somebody can make a motion then to deny, or you can.
Move we deny the variance request For ordinance 20, Article 612-4.
Move to deny the variance request. And seconded. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'll vote no. Did you vote, C?
I said aye.
Okay, so that would appear, I believe everybody else voted aye. So, the variance has been denied. Moving on then to item,
Can I ask a question?
yeah,
I the preliminary plat, because I don't have variance approval, so the preliminary plat is on.
well, either the preliminary, if he wants to go forward with the preliminary plat today, we would have to condition it on multiple changes. So, because he'd have to make it come into compliance if he didn't have it, but I mean, I think we could vote to advance it based on him making the following changes to bring it in compliance.
Yeah, I think.
Unless-
I'm done for a minute.
You're done for a minute, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming he doesn't see an issue with that if we do that on a regular basis. All right, variance request from ordinance 20, Article 686, Pleasant Valley Estates Phase 3. So, last one took an hour and 20 minutes. You guys ready?
Up to you guys. So, Shane Matt with Interstate Engineering.
This is the variance that we saw proposal on before.
Yes, it was with the preliminary plat, that when they came back with the final plat, they needed to come back with the variance, not to dedicate the section line right away.
All right.
This was seen last month then?
The preliminary plat was, yes, the variance was not, the preliminary plat was contingent on a variance being approved.
We're just following through with the variance. Simply just not to dedicate the existing section line right away. And this is based upon, this is what predicated when we started the development and when we platted Ranch Loop Road previously in phase 1, sorry. And so it's just basically crossing the T's and dotting the I's here, so, in my opinion. So, making sure we comply with the ordinance. You either have to dedicate it or now the new ordinance, so.
Yeah, this is where the kind of the top loop comes up, or is this the
top,
side ordinance?
No, this, what's that?
Or the side, where there's a section line that runs north-south there on the east side.
The one, yeah, coming across from east to west. And we never, at that time, before Tanya, we were told not to vacate it, just leave it. And in retrospect, vacating might have been easier actually, but we didn't, so we just don't want to have to dedicate that section line right away.
Okay, questions? Questions? Is there anybody else here to speak to this variance today? Seeing none. Staff, you don't have any objections, is my understanding.
No.
Okay. All right, anybody want to make a motion?
I feel like we should make.
You don't have to.
I can't think of anything to ask.
I think if you just said, that the plat is not required to dedicate the section. Okay.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the variance, so they're not obligated to dedicate the section lines. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, that passes.
Move we exit board.
Ma'am.
I move we exit Board of Adjustments.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded to exit the Board of Adjustments. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Next one's a variance. This is a Timberwood Park Estate Subdivision 2. I'm assuming that our previous action on this would be,
That's a motion.
this goes to the commission.
This goes from the commissioners.
So this is to not make it an arterial.
Not to widen it to 28.
So, I mean, rather than bring Mr. Tui up here again, given how the board went, does somebody want to make a motion on this to recommend the commission not to grant the variance? This because the 28-foot wide appears in the platting and the road. That's why we've got it here twice. All right. So, is that a motion?
Yes.
Is there a second? Motion to recommend to the commission not waive. Did somebody second it?
I'll second it.
Okay. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I'll oppose. So, we'll go to old business final plat of lots DL2 revised DL3 and well lot.
Shannon Boston, it's baseline surveying. So this is a plat that we've all seen before. So we're just looking for final plat approval. The well-share agreement has been submitted, it's all signed, as well as the agreement for no further subdivision for 12 months due to the variances that were approved for this final plat. So. Oh yeah, water test. They've got everything back. Results, gallons per minute, as well as water quality is all back. So we have all that submitted also. So.
They also, if I remember right, they had Fair Butte Water as well.
Yes, and we did get that letter. Yep.
Okay, so I guess I don't remember this 12 months thing. Is that what we talked about?
Yeah,
Oh, is that the ordinances?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's to refrain from platting for 12 months.
All right. Okay.
Because there's no master plan submitted.
Right. Oh, yeah, so people aren't doing it one lot at a time. Okay. All right, thanks for that clarification. Questions for Mr. Vasquez or staff?
Make a motion that we approve as presented.
Second.
Motion to approve the final plat as presented. Any discussions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Yes, that passes.
Oh, sorry.
Final plat of lot 128 revised Timberwood Park Estates. Phase 7, I believe that's you.
Yes, again, Shannon from Baseline Surveying. This is a plat of basically a lot consolidation of a lots, two existing lots that we're platting all into one. So that way the owner, a future build of a shop, I believe, is the plan. So this one's pretty straightforward. We just have we did receive some variances on this one also, but since this is a lot consolidation, we weren't required, I don't believe, for the subdividing. So, but.
Okay. Questions? Is anybody else here to speak to this plat? Seeing none, is there any questions or motions?
I motion that we approve the final plat of Lot 128 revised to the Timberwood Park Estates.
A motion for approval. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Final plats of lots
Thank you.
7 and 8, Block 4, Pleasant Valley Estates, Phase 3.
Shane Madigan for Interstate Engineering. This is this plat or preliminary plat that we submitted last time, only with a few minor wording changes on the plat as requested by either Tanya or the Register of Deeds. So, and then we got the variance as other than that, it's any different.
Okay, there is staff has a recommendation here that that improvements need to be bonded.
They have
Yep,
been.
and she did do that, yep.
Okay, you
When
have
I
a bond?
wrote this, yeah, she did turn in the bonding after
Okay.
I wrote all this and submitted it online, but yes, the bonding is in place.
Okay. Okay. Questions for the proponents by anybody? Mike's on.
Is this the 40 acres that you had discussed last summer about possibly just selling it off and whoever wanted to do the development as far as horse facility or whatever?
Ann Blair, UD, Pleasant Valley Estates. Yes, this is the same parcel.
Okay. Thank you.
I believe you'll be seeing in the near future minor subdivision on that parcel.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Keep us in suspense. All right, additional questions? Seeing none, does anybody wish to make is there anybody here to speak to this? Okay, seeing none, is there any motion?
I move we approve the final plat.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to approve the plat. Discussions on the motion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? All right. We'll look forward to the minor plat.
Very minor.
Very, very minor. Okay, yeah, well, we'll see. See. You bet.
See Bill's in the hallway now.
Go in the hallway.
Yeah, I can hear him. Anybody want to take a quick break while she rustles Bill up? Yeah, sure. All right, why don't we take a 5-minute then?
Oh, that was a real bugger.
Thanks. long as sand stays, we're good.
Sand's never gonna
Horizons Estates preliminary plat, let's go back on the record and see what we can get done here.
You want me to comment?
Shoot, let us know. I mean, it's been a razzle-dazzle up and down kind of thing.
Okay, well, from our last meeting, this is what I came up with, so I'm trying to figure out what I wanted to do the last time where I put the infrastructure in and I don't plat the lots. Just gets to be too confusing. So what I did is I've got 8 5-acre lots and 2 10-acre lots. If I sell all my, this is just off the record, I guess, or whatever, just for your knowledge. Once I sell all 8 of those 5s, and I don't have any 5s, and I still have 1 or 2 10s, I'm going to come in and replat a 10 into 2 5s. And then I think, Talbot, I addressed everything you were commenting about, the labeling of the easements, labeling of the right-of-ways, and so on. I think we did everything that we needed to do that way.
I appreciate it. You understand there's no guarantee we're going to let you subdivide at one of those 10s. It's going to depend on what's going on. If there's something comes up, we can't guarantee you that we'll let you subdivide a 10 in the future.
Is there anything, any ordinance today that would stop me from?
No, I'm not aware of any, but we can't.
No, I'm not asking you to get. That's why I said it was off the record. I'm not trying to get you to agree to it.
One of the questions I have on the lot 6 access point for that.
Which is lot 6? Now
that's one of the 10 in the corner.
What I need to do with those, where we're gonna, I can't put them up on Elk Creek, and I don't want to put it up on Elk Creek. I'm going to put it on 144,
yep.
and I'm going to go right to. That's an easement for a water line, and for utilities for electric line. So what I want to do is go to the middle of lot 6 on 144 and put the access point right there.
The problem you've got is you've got access restrictions at the middle point. So that's just the point.
Yep. So it would be the northwest corner would be your access point.
Yeah.
Because it restricted, this must meet.
That many feet? Oh, okay. I knew there was. I thought I went past that.
Probably meet the ordinance requirement for a driveway.
Well, then what I'm going to do. How about I could go to the middle though on lot 5, I guess. Huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the only problem you can't do them over the top of that water line. So you're not going to want to put a driveway on top of the water line.
No, you got to be to the side, correct.
Right. So you can't do a shared unless you could potentially do like a shared or an easement driveway where you went to the lot above it 5 and then maybe came back across by easement or something.
The understanding what you just said, when we bring that water line in there, we can water those lots off of the right-hand side there, Tanya. I can water the lots right here. I can put a water shut off and a water shut off, and I can do the 10 right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this water line, but I'm not going to bring it clear to the road. I'm going to stop it right back here, and I'm going to put a fire hydrant there because I've got to have fire protection for these 2 lots. So I'll put a fire hydrant there, and but it's all going to set back a little bit. I didn't want to go right up to the edge of it. I wanted to stay back at least. I think it was 8 feet from the property line, so I would be within an easement area.
Yeah, so what you're talking about, this is a preliminary?
Yeah. So at final, we could do an as-built and actually set the easement line.
Right. Well, yeah, we'd want the easement line adjusted in the final plat. If you want to put this, and that makes good sense to me, a shared driveway there, but you're going to have to pull that easement back because I'm not. I think we would push back on you putting a driveway over the top of a water line.
Yeah. No.
He's talking about just bringing the water line like to here. The easement.
Well, right about in here is where I'm gonna end it.
But then driveway and not be running over the top of
And I've got some other things that are my concern. I've got what's the width? I gotta go to 28 feet on this road on 144. I've gotta improve it to your current standards, and I think that's 28 feet, so I gotta add like 2 feet to each side of that. And probably gotta modify my ditch a little bit. So I didn't want that water line coming right up there to the end.
Yeah, and there's no reason to bring it all that way either. Yeah, you probably want a hydrant on that end anyway.
Otherwise, I don't know how I fire protect them. But if I put a fire hydrant right there, that fire protects both those lots. So.
Okay. Questions for the proponent on the layout? You're going to build, not bond. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got the this Penny Lane right here. Yeah, I've got that. I've got the dirt work all done on it, and we've got water now that we've got somewhere over into here. I don't think we're clear over to here yet. And we got the electric ditch, and I don't think we've even dug the electric ditch. We're not going to do it till the water is all done. That answer your question? So what's that? I understand why I got to widen 144, and I considered asking for a variance not to do that. But knowing, if you slide that down a little bit, no, the other way. Okay, this area is right in through here. This is where those mile-long streets come through here and get onto that road, and there's two of them. Well, that amount of traffic is going to be an impact on that road. These two lots are not going to be much of an impact on that road, but these will be. So I don't mind spending I'd rather cost it out into that last phase, which would be 24 lots. I'd rather cost it into 24 instead of 2, but I'm not going to try to convince anybody that that's a better way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you do it and you get it done. It's always hard when you're layering these in. Bet you couldn't just get them all done and install them all the next day. That'd make it a lot easier, but all right, other questions for Bill? Staff have any other thoughts?
Just 144th Avenue, I know he doesn't own the side of the section line. Not a variance to not dedicate it, but he has a 28 wide road would be the only variance he would possibly need for final plot. Other than that, he doesn't need any other variances.
Yep, I would agree.
That's a 66-foot wide right away, isn't it?
Yeah, our ordinance, and it's in our to clean up, says you're supposed to dedicate the entire section line, but you can't dedicate what you don't own. So we just have you file a variance that we grant as a matter of course. 'Cause we need to clean it up in our that.
Do I do that on my final plat then?
Yeah, on the final plat.
Yeah, you know, we're building a list. You know, back when we didn't have any development going on, our ordinance didn't have to be very robust.
You're telling me.
So, as we've gotten more development and finding out when people build stuff and then run away, and then all of a sudden 2 months later people are knocking on your door going, this doesn't work and this doesn't work, and then we've been trying to keep them up with it.
I also understand this based on your variances and how everybody wants to hate Caskey. Not you guys, but the people that live there. I got a good friend who lives in there, and he knows I'm a developer, and so he doesn't drink the Kool-Aid with the rest of them. But I don't know why they dislike him as bad as they do. I mean, pretty nice subdivision in my opinion.
It is a nice subdivision. I think. Look, I think it's easy to
It is. It's
hype a
real easy
project
to not
and then
like a
easy-
developer. I know
Yeah.
that.
And, you know, you hype a project and real estate agents are hyping it, and no matter how many provisos you put in it, people hear what they want to hear. So,
Okay.
but we'll just start telling everybody that you're going to pave all these roads, and then.
Well, after I get my 22 voters where I can have an election and have a district, a legal district formed, at that point we might, possibly try to come in here and pay part of the cost or whatever and chip seal these gravel roads. But I don't want to pave them. I can't pave them because you can't recover your costs.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, that is a hard problem, and because of the way the cost has gone up, is as I say, the people complaining about mining good, clean rock are the same people that complain that rock's expensive. So, or my other one that I tend to tell people is I get plenty of people as a commissioner that come up to me and say their taxes are too high and their roads suck. So. Yeah.
And they want you guys. They want you guys to come in and fix what they didn't do when they do their own due diligence when they bought their property.
Yeah.
Why all of a sudden did that become your problem?
Well, I mean, part of our responsibility is to try to make sure that's done right up front.
It is.
And the hard thing I think is with Mr. Caskey is compared to a lot of other developers, he's done a pretty nice job. We could have him. These things are on, but I guess I can say, could be old. He could have bought land from Ole. So.
Well, I'm trying to.
It's a whole other story.
I'm trying to do whatever it is you guys want so that it's clean, and I just, like I said, if you ever do clean up some of your old ordinances, got to address this being able to do a quarter of a quarter of a quarter legal description, and they can't get a building permit. Because if you don't tell them that, if I don't tell them that as the seller, boy, what a rotten thing to do to somebody.
Yep.
But that part of it, I don't know what the wording's got to be, but I think that should be.
Yeah, it's difficult though, because if we don't have that, then we'll have developers just take a 40, sell 410s, and then people won't have access and won't have anything else either. But we'll be obligated to give them a building permit.
And you got farmers and ranchers. This guy's got a lot of land. He wants to get something to his kid. Well,
yeah.
Then you got fits him pretty good, but it doesn't fit a land developer very good.
All right. Other questions or thoughts? Any motions?
Make a motion to approve the preliminary plat with the access to lot. Sorry, I moved my. That's the west lots 5 and 6. Thank you. Modified and addressed. Whoever wants to clean up my wording.
On lot 5, I intend to put that access in the middle of it.
Right, I know, but I'm saying
on 6 I can't. I'm going to come down to that corner, that northwest corner.
Yeah. You have recommendations staff's recommendations are approval, approach permit for construction of Penny Lane, submission of geotech boring report. Would we have that?
No, we do not.
Submission of a survey confirming 144 meets technical standards. Yeah, so basically, are you making the motion to include the 6 recommendations of
yes.
staff? Okay.
Yes.
That probably is easy to do. All right. So motion would be to accept the preliminary plat based on the 6 recommendations, including the 6 recommendations, subject to the 6 recommendations in the staff report. And then you can just insert those into the motion rather than trying to read them all again. Okay. Is there a second to that motion? Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye opposed. All right. Thanks,
Okay.
Bill.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the comments.
Mr. Toohey, you want to come back for this plat?
I don't want to stay here another hour.
Well, there's nobody here to comment, so we'll probably go a little bit faster. One, before you jump into it, since we've started it, the initial question I would have is, page 25 of the submission shows where you get your bore testing at, and none of it's even close to this area.
So this was, I asked, that's part of, again, I'm only 4 months into this.
Yeah, you've come in late to the game.
I asked Ryan if he had done borings. He gave me an older geotech report from AET. That's all that one was. That was a bunch of perk tests that were done previously on a different phase. So as part of the stipulations moving forward, we will go get new bore tests, both on the road, because we'll have to design the road, and we'll have the percolation tests done on those 11 lots at the same time.
Yeah, that lot at the bottom, the where he's got his well location.
Yep.
What's the purpose of it now?
To give it its own lot, instead of try to get an easement using an easement, making lot 11 and 12 one lot and then having an easement, that way the water system can own and maintain and pay taxes on that lot.
Yeah, on lot 12.
On lot 12.
Yeah, stipulation tell that that's a non-buildable lot then?
Yeah, that would be the question. I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out what he plans to do there. I mean, we could declare it a utility lot, and it's a non-buildable lot except for utility.
I don't think
like if he wanted to put ground storage, or if he wanted to put a tank there or something as a backup, like these guys were talking about. If he wanted, when you do a water system, if you're going to boost it, he could do backup water there. But he has to have to install a booster, probably.
I believe there's already kind of a small shed anyway.
Yeah.
To encompass it. I don't know if he chlorinates out of there. I really don't know a lot about the water system yet.
Well, and that's one of I think what I would like to see is some kind of clarification, because I don't want to put a restriction on the plat that screws up something the water system wants to do, like maybe the water system or backup generator, or even maybe a tiny office. But I also don't. I think the neighbors would show up with pitchforks and knives if all of a sudden you had a Dollar General there or something like that.
So do we call it just a utility lot?
Well, it might be utility lot, but and restricted for use of the water system or something like that.
I think
residential buildings or
no residential or commercial.
You have an office with you.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm just looking for language on that, because I mean if you let's say you do a little small office that you're at sometimes or have meetings.
I think he has. I think the reservoir lot is actually called the reservoir lot, or a water lot, something.
Okay.
I would have to go back and see what exactly that's called, but we could change it to something like that if that was more acceptable.
If we're going to put a restriction on it, I don't want to put a restriction on it that makes it unusable in the future for what a plan was he had for the water system.
We could put a small office there, and they could have a direct little slot for the bills.
Yeah, or just a place to keep all. I mean, if he sells that system in the future, sometimes you just need a place to keep records.
Yep. Okay.
Or a place for somebody to have parts and have a shed with a little office and the ability to pull a gator out and go. That's the question I think we'd want to ask about that. I mean, I think that I want to put a restriction on it, but I don't want the restriction so aggressive that you go like, oh well, cripes, it would make sense to do like this or that, a storage shed for the water operation. Yeah.
I don't,
Well, it could be like the fire station in Piedmont where they have a holding tank.
So what you're looking for, something like any construction must directly contribute to the water supply?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think what we do is we could vote to say it has to be labeled a utility lot and building on it would have to be restricted to provisioning of the utility service. That could include a small office, something like that. I don't think we have to get in that kind of detail. But I also don't want the neighbors showing up and saying, "This said no buildings on here," where you're like, you want a bunch of junk just sitting out there.
you got to replace a valve, or you got a
Yep.
fire hydrant break,
Yep.
fire water line break. I'm in agreement.
Yeah, I just know that in some of the water systems I've represented, once they get up to like 100 and some connections, it really becomes beneficial to have not even an office that's manned all the time, just more of a garage with maybe a little bit of office space to it, because you have to keep equipment. It gets that expensive where you just got to have some parts available, and you have to have meters available in case someone fails, because everything's just in time now. And
Place to drop off the chlorine.
yeah, mm-hmm.
I get it.
Yeah, they store the chlorine and that kind of stuff.
Yep, we can work through that one.
Okay. Then you're going to change it to adjusted for our motions, which means that lot one on the north end will be a little bit smaller because of the dedication.
Yep.
But it should be more than sufficient size. Borings. What else? And you said you saw something on it. Was that the
No,
borings?
the main thing was just to make sure that we had the soil borings for perk testing. Addressed that already.
Yeah, that was a comment that Tanya and I talked about last week, and I knew that was coming. And now we'll have to do a couple in the roadway, because they'll have to widen that roadway.
Wow. You have to make sure it's spec. 24 feet's fine, but got to meet spec otherwise. No, you have to widen now too. Yeah, I forgot. That one failed too. Jeez. Well, all right. Yeah, so we have to widen it. Yeah, you're correct.
Which I've already got to do some culvert design on the north half. This just makes it now all tie in together, and we know what we need to do. I can pull some lot off of 5 and 6. That's kind of a steep slope to get up to those lots anyway, so we'll make it a little more gradual and use that extra dirt.
Oh, good idea. Other questions? Go ahead,
Anya,
Roger.
you had comments regarding drainage.
Yeah, Mike and I discussed the drainage. There's a culvert down at the cul-de-sac, and there's probably drainage, and then drainage down to lot 1 and possibly up to lot 2, 3, and 4. Now we're redesigning the road, so we might be able to.
Okay, so that'll be a
So
condition on the preliminary.
Yep. We'll try to move all of it. We'll try to move all of it so that it's in the road right away.
And was it you that went out there, or the highway superintendent that? Okay.
And what was the determination on, Mike? I think when we were talking about water before, you stated that there's sufficient water capacity in the existing well. Based on the
He's
state.
got 2 wells.
Yeah, the biggest issue we've been running into lately has been storage.
He has the storage that you guys require. He has enough storage for 225 residents. Is that what I said? At this time, the water system is technically designed for 250 residences. And so this will give it, I believe this, adding these 11 users gets us up to 137. So he's got room for 90 more based on your guys' requirement in, is it 30 or 33? One of those?
33.
33? Yep. And again, when he does start to master plan the other stuff to the east, that'll all get taken into consideration. and he already knows he's probably going to have to expand. I think the one thing they were considering was where the next break point would be, whether it's a PRV and a second reservoir, because eventually he'll end up where he's got too much pressure in the line. And so we'll have to reduce that, whether it's a whole new separate tank, which is probably where it would go in, coming in through a PRV.
Yeah, sure. Fill a secondary tank.
To create that
then,
second pressure zone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else, staff?
The water thing, I did reach out to DNR. It's an old enough. They don't have any record of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know what we wanted. And I can't find any record of it in our office.
I'm gonna ask Ryan for as-built.
Yep.
I'm gonna ask him. They didn't have anything.
They have a law that they can work after. Crazy. They do not have 5 years.
So
They do
5
not
years.
have anything.
that's pretty wild.
So all I have is what's online for the wells and the stuff that we can find for the wells.
I'll get everything I can from Ryan on what he's gotten from them. I'm sure. And I'll tell you, 5 years ago when I started TDG, you still mailed the plans to DNR. It's only been the last year that we now get to upload them to a SharePoint, and they do everything electronic now. So it took them a while.
Okay. Other thoughts, questions?
One of the residents that were here talking, they were concerned. We had talked about the road width and other roads that feed into that. And I know Ryan had, years ago, he had come to one of our planning meetings and had a lot of dialogue with these roads and McIntosh Road. What the residents had said were, who's it fair for? Who's paying for what? So I don't want you to go away thinking that that we don't take this road thing lightly or that we're taking it too aggressively. We went through the ordinance, and Ryan was part of that. He came into several of those meetings, redid our ordinance, try to tackle some of this.
I fully expected everything that happened here today.
Yeah. We didn't let you down.
No, I get it. There's rules that are made to be rules. Can't get mad at a police officer if he pulls you over for driving drunk, can you?
Yeah.
My father was a cop for a very long time. It's not your fault. It's not his fault you're drinking. And it's not your fault that you're following your rules.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Did we address, then, heard you mention culverts, just looking at your notes. We've addressed the culverts and then the utilities, your statement on utilities. Yep.
And so essentially you would do a motion adopting the 6 recommendations of staff. Lot 12 would be declared a utility lot, and section line.
That's just affecting lot 1.
Well, yeah, lot 1, and looks like it doesn't. What page is that plat on?
5. We're going to dedicate.
You're gonna generally you would see that dedication of the stuff on the west side as just like you would on the bottom there. So.
On the east side?
Yeah, on the east side, on the west side of the property.
So
yeah,
can we zoom into
east of
Timber Creek and Frontier? Timber Creek and Frontier. So that round circle in the center of that intersection, the gentleman that was sitting here that lives on lot 30, he owns to that's his corner pin. And so then the guy from lot 1, that's also his corner pin. So when we dedicate it, we can dedicate the new right-of-way down all the way through the north or the south side where we're dedicating the public right away now.
You would dedicate it to that middle point, all the way north.
We could dedicate it to the south point because Ryan owns all that to the south yet. So we'll dedicate from the pin she's holding on the south side of that right away, all the way north, and then include the bubble. We'll dedicate that as public right away.
Yep. Yep.
On both sides of the section, or just section 30 and 31, correct? Or just 31?
He owns both sides of that, right?
We're not doing nothing with 30 though. Now we're getting back into that same discussion of it's not on the title. It's when we get to that one.
Yeah, just do both sides. It's just a matter of time.
Well, at one point, well, it could be a long ways out, but feeder road that would go up to Tilford.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you look at
But
that
that-
property to the north that he doesn't own, that's where those people have been kind of platting through the middle of it, and someday. Yeah. Probably closer to coming out. I don't know. I mean, take it when you get it. Otherwise, you end up like looking like Rapid Valley, where you can't get there from
So I'm just asking this as a dumb question. Instead of getting into taking land out of section 30, could we just plat to the section line, the southern section line, and not do anything in the section line right away, and leave it all just the way it is? That way it all gets addressed at one time?
Section 31, section line right away has to be applied because your variance was denied. This has to be platted.
So I guess I'm asking not to get into 30.
Not to go into 30? Oh, okay.
Because
So
then because now we're platting something out of...
I mean, I'm not against that, frankly.
Well, that's why I'm asking. I just think it would be cleaner if we didn't get into 30, because now you're taking right away out of a actual section. But I'll do whatever you guys ask.
Section, yeah. Well, what I hear, the consensus of the board, and given the way they've gone, is I think you're going to have to.
Realize it's in another name. Ryan's the principal on that LLC.
Well, I mean, where you're at, frankly, right now, under the ordinance, you've got to take that chunk out of 30. So I think if you want the preliminary plat passed today, it's going to be subject to that. But you can talk a majority or necessary majority to waive it in the future before you get the final. So if you want us to move it forward, it's going to have to be subject to that.
No, I'll just tell him he's got to plat it. It's probably an extra signature on the plat, because I don't know who owns which section.
Okay. All right, other thoughts, questions? Motions? Is there anybody else here to speak to this? I mean, let me call those guys that were here before, see if they...
Yeah. I can give it a shot. So move approval of the preliminary plat on conditions 1 through 6 as stated in the staff report, and adjusting
lot sizes to reflect sure how to say that. Thank you. To reflect the dedicated right-of-way on the section regarding section lines. And there was something about lot 12.
Lot 12 be designated as a utility lot and restricted to the use of.
Yep, thank you.
12.
I think I caught it all.
Okay. All right. Is there a second to that motion? Discussion on the motion. Well, I see that he's got designated access points. Do you want those incorporated to show those on the plat? Because he's got them he had them in the variance, but they're not on the plat.
After grading and what we end up doing with the road, I think they probably will need to be looked at.
Okay.
We're trying to keep the 150-foot distancing that's required for the ordinance for a local road.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And like I
So
see
we
the
might
one
have to-
shared driveway, and yeah.
Might have to adjust a couple.
Yeah.
grading.
Well, and he did a nice job because he's got them crossways from driveways situation.
I tried.
No, well, I mean, you, Mike, you do better than most, so.
Except at getting variances.
Yeah.
Glad you're over it.
Like I said, I expected it when I walked in the door.
All right, any other discussion on the motion?
Could I hear it back? Oh, she was just.
Motion to approve the preliminary plat of lots 1 through 12, Block 1, Timberwood Park Estates, Subdivision 2, on conditions of 1 through 6 as stated in the staff report, and adjusting lot sizes to reflect the dedicated right-of-way regarding section lines, and Lot 12 to be restricted as a utility lot.
There was another statement that followed in building for utility purposes only.
When we're doing the final minutes, you'll cut and paste in those staff restrictions. And the reason we'd like to see that is because 5 years later, when they're looking, if they can't find the staff report, the motion provides the clarity. So, all right, discussions. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Well, there you go, Mike. Hopefully you'll come back. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Anything else from staff? Anybody from planning board have any other comments? Thanks everybody for powering through.
Yep, thank you.
You're here next month yet, right?